Miami Heat split the weekend. They remain atop the Eastern Conference by a half game, 32-18. One more win than the Chicago Bulls, who sit at 31-18. And, they took care of things on Friday. Pretty ho-hum game. They were kicking the crap out of the Clippers pretty much the entire time. Clippers made a little bit of a run-ski late in that game, but it was to no avail. They really they took care of things and were able to get the win 121-114. Defense got a little bit sloppy joes. They got outscored in that fourth quarter 34-25, but Jimmy Bucket still led the way. He had 26 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. And Gabe Vincent was unconscious in the third quarter. Oh. He hit 6 from downtown. He's just been, he really has been tremendous in the absence of Kyle Lowry, who remains out for personal reasons. Bam Adebayo on that night, he had 20 points, 12 rebounds. So everybody was getting on the scoring game pretty much against the Clippers. And the Heat were able to drop them under 500. They're back there now. So it was a good win there. And then you had a game on Saturday night, was crazy good. It was the Heat and Raptors, and it went to triple overtime. Obviously a lot to dissect in that game because, when you have a game that goes to triple overtime, there's so many opportunities that feel like they slipped away. And it really did feel like there was like 9 different points where the Heat were going to win this game, and Toronto just wouldn't go away. Even just starting with regulation, you had Scotty Barnes, the rookie, coming back home and hitting 2 big free throws to send him to OT. You're like, all right, going to overtime, you still feel good with where things are going. But, just some of the really late game execution by Miami, and specifically Jimmy Butler, who had an overall awesome game. He had a 37-point triple-double, Leroy. First 35-point triple-double in Heat history. It was overall a great game for Jimmy, but some of the late game misses, the kicking the ball off his shoe, it was a rough watch from that standpoint with Jimmy. And then you think back to they had certain points in overtime. The one that was like the biggest killer, I would say, after Jimmy had the late turnover with about 2 seconds left after Gary Trent tied it up at 105. So you're going to double overtime. This one was the one that hurt the most because you get it and tie it at 114. Anunoby misses a shot, and then Gabe Vincent gets the ball, and he's running down the court, heaves it up right past half court, banks it in, goes in. It's like 1.5 seconds left, and all of a sudden you just hear, "No basket! No basket!" Heat called timeout. You iced yourself! What? Eric Spoelstra called timeout, but Gabe Vincent, nobody heard it. It was just like it was willy-nilly down the court, and he hits just an absolute ice-cold shot. Gabe Vincent, going to be a buzzer-beaten hero, basically. And Eric Spoelstra getting in there with the timeout. Tyler Hero misses one at the end of double OT, and it goes to triple overtime. The night continues, Leroy. The night continues, and it's just a tough one. Then you start seeing, in triple overtime, it ended up finishing, 10-6. Ended up being the final of that triple overtime as the Heat weren't able to get any offense going, basically, from there. They almost, they get out to the early lead. Tyler Hero gets a three-pointer, but then it's really Fred VanVleet answers him right back, and it's Raptors pretty much then they're out. But that double overtime timeout from Spo was just an absolute killer. And so, there's this is one of those things where it's like you have so few of these games where the Heat, it's been such a good season. And so you have so few of these games where it's like these late game execution mishaps you can actually dissect and say, is this a concern? Is this a concern? I think all of it's on the table as you're allowed, as a fan, you're allowed to be annoyed you lose that game. because you feel like you had it in hand. You're a better team than the Raptors, even if you're not at full strength. You guys, that's kind of been your calling card all year, so I'm not going to lean on that as an excuse because you didn't have Kyle Lowry. Gabe Vincent played tremendous and had some really clutch shots for you. But, yeah, it was annoying to see Jimmy Butler miss some bunnies late and then kick the ball off his shoe, even though he had overall a good game. I'd say that, Bam played a hell of a game defensively, was flying all over the place for the rebounds, but it's like they just forget about him on offense. Like they don't even, and I don't know who that's on. I don't, we've gone on Bam plenty about aggressive, but I don't even feel like they gave him the ball. Like it's not one of these things where I don't even feel like, do you want Bam to just take the rebound from full court and just ignore everybody? So I don't really know who that's on. And then obviously Eric Spoelstra had the huge blunder of calling timeout and costing his team a game winner.
Here's what I would say. Don't get caught up in the Bam stuff simply because when Gabe Vincent is doing what he's doing and Jimmy's doing what he's doing, the Heat do a tremendous job, not only from a coaching perspective, but the players themselves of getting the hot hand the ball. They've all told you that. And so it might have just been one of those situations where two guys were hot and everybody else on the team just kept getting the ball to them, which you should do. So I'm not going to get caught up too much on Bam not getting any run at the end or getting the ball, because had they won, you would have said, hey, the Heat kept getting that ball to the hot hand.
I understand, but I do think that's the thing, though, is like when things don't go your way and you don't win, like you do dissect of what could you have done differently, what could you have done better, and you look at a game.
It wasn't because they didn't have opportunities. Guys were missing shots.
No, that's true. Tyler Hero had one for the win late, and as good a look as you want. Now Tyler had a really rough shooting night. He had some clutch baskets, of course, but he finished the night 5 of 22, 3 of 14 from downtown. So Tyler Hero, for the most part, was building a brick house. But you always trust Tyler in that spot. Like, you always trust that Tyler Hero, when he gets the wide-open three, you always are going to love that opportunity. Like, I think, honestly, I would say probably in those clutch situations, I don't know who the Heat fan trusts more than Tyler Hero. And so he has a wide-open three-pointer. They're down 122-120, and he misses it. Goes in and out. Anunoby gets the rebound. Bam gets a foul on Siakam, and that kind of ices it because it's, he hits both of them and they're down 4. But, Tyler Hero, wide open three for the win or for the lead with 16 seconds left. You feel 13 seconds left. You feel pretty good about that. You feel you feel great about that shot. But it does. Listen, that's why I say it's not a game I want to overanalyze and take too much of a beating on, but I think that
they had your monocle out though to read the fine print.
Oh, well, it's a triple overtime game. There's going to be stuff all over the place. But I think when they're, listen, this has been a game where this has been a season where everything has just gone so peachy for the Heat. Everything has gone good. You don't get many opportunities like this. And it's a good problem to have, but you don't get many of these opportunities where you're just like, all right, well, that you messed up your late game execution in so many ways because you get to a triple overtime and you're in a dogfight with the Raptors, who the Raptors is crazy because the Raptors don't play anybody other than their starters. It's really crazy. They play. It's wild. They played Leroy. This. Let me read you their starting lineup. Their starting lineup played 57 minutes, 56 minutes, 56 minutes, 54 minutes, and 56 minutes. Their two bench guys, Boucher and Precious Achiuwa, played 12 minutes, 16 minutes, and then Banton, some dude named Banton, played 9 minutes. For the Heat, they only had, even with the triple overtime, only Jimmy was the only guy to play over 50 minutes. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy how much Nick Nurse plays his guys. Is he like Canadian Thibodeau?
No, they don't have a whole bunch of options. Aren't they banged up? They got a lot of guys out.
I don't think they do, because this is kind of what they've been doing all year.
Hey, you think triple overtime, the guys on the end of the bench are going, yo, I'm ready, coach. I'm ready.
You're good. What was up with Nick Nurse's shirt? It really bothered me. Like, he didn't look like a coach. He looked like he was one of these guys that's like at, Hyde, who's way too old to be at Hyde and is trying to buy bottles for IG models. It really bothers me that Nick Nurse has gone from like nerd to like, hey, look at me, I'm Nick Nurse with my poofy hair and my cool shirts. Oh, you think a championship ring changes you, dude? I don't think so. He's trying to style and profile. I don't appreciate it. Like Eric Spoelstra did this back in the day. Like he used to have the big suits, like he wasn't tailored. And then sometime around like, I would say the Big 3 era, got real nice suits. Got the thin tie, got the designer belt. Just styled it up. But Eric Spoelstra can pull it off. I feel like Nick Nurse is meant to have those thick glasses. And now all of a sudden he's too cool for school. Annoys me. Did you see who was...
I'm telling you what. With that team and all those arms and legs, they're all lengthy.
It is it's no wonder why Tyler would have trouble against a team like that, because it's just all wingspan.
But I mean, look, he's a good coach. Like we tend to not give him credit because of the whole Kawhi thing. But I mean, it'll catch up to him. Playing all your starters 50 minutes while you're on the road, that catches up to you. Because at some point, they're going to go out there and just be out of fumes.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that, Spo has been able to do, either with the injuries or the COVID. He's been able to go deep into his roster and kind of save, those moments, because it's going to get to a point in time in the season where your rotation is 7, 8 at the most, either when you're getting ready for the playoffs or you're in the playoffs. So to be able to go deep into your bench for whatever reason and still have production is going to pay dividends at the end of the season.
So coming up for the Heat tonight, they have the Boston Celtics. Long road trip coming up for the Miami Heat. Boston tonight, Toronto tomorrow. Kyle Lowry's still away from the team, so he will not be making his return to Toronto. Thursday is the makeup at San Antonio. Saturday is at Charlotte. Monday at Washington, and then next Thursday at New Orleans before they're back home next Saturday against the Brooklyn Nets. So long road trip coming up for your Miami Heat. Not exactly the easiest road trip coming up for your Miami Heat. So we'll see. This will be an interesting little stretch tonight. Of course, 6:15 is your pregame show tonight here on 790 The Ticket, as the Heat, they remain a half game up.
Isn't this the first time in a few years that they haven't played on Super Bowl Sunday, right?
I don't know. I always recall the famous game against the Raptors on Super Bowl Sunday, because that's the one that started the 27-game win streak.
Right. So.
But no, because they would play the Saturday before the Super Bowl. So I don't think that they play on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll take a quick break.
I'm saying they played a lot of games on Super Bowl Sunday.
I don't doubt it, because there's usually a lot of NBA parlays for the Super Bowl. There's usually like or over-unders, like
totals, or rebounds,
always fun,
assists, and points.
Always fun. The Heat, they start a road trip tonight against the Boston Celtics. That is a 7:30 tip-off from whatever that hellhole is called. I'm looking forward to grief listening tomorrow after the Heat kick the Celtics' ass. Brad Stevens, terrible GM, terrible coach. Tatum, grab him by the neck, Brad Stevens. So looking forward to that. 7:30 is when that game gets going. 6:15 is your pregame show here on 790 The Ticket. This is the first of a back-to-back. He'd have 3 games in 4 nights coming up this week, as you have Boston tonight, Toronto tomorrow, and then they are taking on San Antonio on Thursday. So that is a lot of basketball that is coming up for your Miami Heat. One little health update. Omer Yurtseven, he has been placed in health and safety protocols. So Big Yurt, although he hasn't been getting a lot of run anyway, will be a bummer. No Big Yurt coming up for these next few games. He'll be out, I would imagine, at least 5 days. So that would probably have him back around Sunday, or I guess Monday against Washington when he would be eligible to come back.
But they would still be on the road. Would they fly him out there?
They have been doing that. Like they did that with Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson got out of protocols, and then he flew to Portland. And by the way, Can I just say, you need to knock it off, all right? Because you, I'm talking to you. You know who I'm co-hosting with. You're like, I want one of those apology forms filled out by you because this Heat versus Haters, great Twitter account. They put out an apology form. No. You are like, oh, where's your apology form, Tobin? For Duncan Robinson. I'm not filling out an apology form.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he did go 0-5 the next game.
He did. He went 0-5 the next game. He had a nice game the night before.
Yeah.
But I'm not filling out an apology form. Get out of here. Apology form. For what?
It was just symptoms, too. It was never fully diagnosed. And we don't know who created those pictures.
You have to contact Trace. You have to know what's going on.
When you have COVID symptoms, you have to go into protocol.
Yep.
So
Fat Cat protocol.
Yeah, apology is not one of the symptoms though. I'm not doing that. Like, and by the way, you go for 5. You know what? Duncan Robinson needs to learn that he needs to be a river, okay? Not a tidal wave.
What?
It's deep.
A river, dude. Steady stream of water. The entire way. Now, and then the tide goes out. And then the tide goes out. No, dude. If you want to be a splash bro, consistent river. That's what Bruce Lee said. Bruce Lee said be water.
But here's the kicker though. You can be that way when you have a bunch of different guys doing it. That way you always have somebody really hot.
Heat vs. Haters put out a Duncan Robinson apology form. It says, to Duncan Robinson, from blank, date blank, reason for behavior. The media convinced me he was done. I didn't watch the actual games. I only look at advanced analytics. I don't know basketball. I was jealous of Duncan Robinson, or I didn't trust our elite shooter. I will hereby respect Duncan Robinson and not talk down to the future first ballot Hall of Famer. A hilarious form, but I'm not filling out one of those. First of all, I get all Duncan Robinson immunity. Like let's just say what it is, okay? I discovered the guy. All right? I'm just gonna say it. I discovered him. Everybody else out here was laughing at me when I told you he was the best shooter I've ever seen. Laughing at me. I said, this number 62, Summer League, best shooter I've ever seen. They were laughing at me when nobody was interviewing Duncan Robinson, okay? Before there was podcasts and before there was all this media attention, the only guy talking to him after practices was me. The only guy who requested him on media day was me. The only guy making parody songs about him was me. And so I just had some concerns. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm sitting here with
that all being said, you could be 100% accurate with what you were saying. But you were one of the first to bail.
Nope, I didn't bail. I just said,
what do you call that?
I call it observing. What is this? What is this brick city he's building? You know? Coincides with $90 million contract. I've seen this story before. Hassan Whiteside, Dion Waiters,
but
Fat Cat syndrome.
He's a 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm.
They have their ebbs and flows.
Right, but he wasn't being a river. He was being a tidal wave.
What the hell does that mean?
In and out with the tide, as opposed to steady stream. It's like what Bruce Lee said.
Well, steady stream means you're 4 for 10 every night.
That's 40%.
But you lose out on the 7 for 13.
Yeah, but I would like the 0 for 5s to go away. Point is,
you want to get rid of only the good stuff.
Point is, I don't feel like I owe anybody an apology, and I certainly don't feel like you can dictate what things I sign and don't sign.
I'm sorry, but you owe him an apology. You were rats off a ship.
I wasn't rats off a ship. My rats were just like...
What do you call it?
I call it my rats are concerned with the conditions of this cruise. Like, me and my rat friends are like, yeah, the food's not that great. It was better last year. Got a little full of itself, this cruise line.
So you basically accused Duncan Robinson of being Adele.
Not Adele. I don't want to go too. Let's not get crazy. Taylor Swift, maybe. But he shook it off.
The worst.
Shake it off. Shake it off.
Bad. Oh no.
I thought this season was trouble when it walked in. Trouble.
Stop yourself.
No.
I'm gonna mute you.
No. No.
Really? That's where we are.
What?
You gonna do the whole segment quoting Taylor Swift songs?
Are you googling her songs?
No, maybe.
Yes.
You're a liar.
Yes, he
You're
is.
such a
Yes,
liar.
he is.
You're going through her catalog right now to see what other things to say.
He's not looking.
I'm looking at the texts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Read it.
Read me one.
You know, Duncan Robinson had this like tough stretch, but look what you made me do, Dunks. You know? Now look at us. We're back where we need to be.
When you say tough stretch, do you mean
I don't know what that is, J Fig. You know, you need to stop putting up these photoshops from Twitch. I don't know where you get them.
Is that new? Is that a new one?
You know, for the longest time though, like I would say for the first couple of months, the Heat had a blank space on that roster, and then all of a sudden, now it's come through.
would you say that's their style?
Problem?
Nope. All good here. Wish I had my drops though.
You right now, you be getting hit with an assault of bums.
I don't know what you mean.
Bum grenade, machine bums, the whole works.
Mm.
This Taylor Swift nonsense. What's wrong with you?
But I knew it all too well that he was going to bounce back.
The 10-minute version of it, or what?
Wait, let me ask you a question. What's worse? The fact that he's doing this, trying to look at the screen, trying to look.
I'm trying to think which one I should weave in.
Yeah. Like, cause by the way, jackass, you ain't that discreet. Like everybody can see you going.
Only because we have Twitch now. I mean, if it was on radio, I'd be knocking these out of the park.
No, because I'd be sitting across from
We'd
you
know.
going, what are you doing?
We'd know.
Oh man.
And here he comes.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Oh gosh.
You need to
So-
calm down.
So Duncan Robinson's gonna shoot 40% because that's what he does.
Yeah, I always knew it, dude.
Now, that's a lie.
What?
I'm just curious.
That's your Mike Biamonte impression.
Yeah. That's a lie.
Listen,
Fire
dude,
the bum guns.
why do you gotta be so mean, dude?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe you just took this enjoyable weekend of sports.
I just gotta say, I love it more so when Duncan Robinson is stroking it and dropping teardrops on my guitar.
Oh, he did it.
Jesus. How even?
Oh my goodness. Do you just not like female artists?
What are you talking about?
Because you said Adele's mailing it in. And now you're quoting Taylor Swift. So you're saying her music is only good for interesting drops for our show.
I don't know what you mean, dude.
Really? All right. I think we should play a game. I think we should play a game. Like once a day, one of us should just have a catalog of songs from an artist, and we just
Just try
start
and weave
making
it
up
in?
stuff during that, and the people have to guess who it is.
Yes. I'm all for it.
Yes.
Or a
Oh.
Tobin quote. Or Taylor
Yeah.
Swift lyric.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
No. We'll know. We know exactly what.
He's
How
still
Mr.
looking.
Wiggle
Just look
Room.
at him.
How did
Yeah,
Duncan's
Mr.
tears-
Wiggle Room tries to get out of.
Wiggle room, schmiggle room, okay?
Oh, that's why I didn't want to play the stupid game this weekend.
Listen, dude.
Replying to your texts and all that.
I just want
because
you.
I knew you were gonna fraudulently say I had Duncan's back the whole time. Meanwhile, there's 750 fat cat memes out
I
there.
don't know where those come
created-
from though. I like JFig peruses
Really?
Heat Reddit. I don't know where they come from.
Really?
And listen, I just want you back in studio, dude, because it feels like we are never ever getting back together. And I really would like. I really
-1.
I'm so glad you found that button.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
What?
Oh, he's trying so hard.
I'm trying to think.
He can't help himself. He can't help himself. Don't do it. Don't
Now
do
Marcos is looking for lyrics.
Fan with good access.
it. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Should have said no.
So now you're a Swiftie now.